Cancer. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for January of 2022. Well, Cancer, we are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, joining in from Pioneer, California.
Yeah, in a different location today. Well, this month's focus is going to land squarely in the relationship arena, and that means partnerships of all kinds, whether personal or business. And it might trigger some questions for you about the partnerships that you're in or that you'd like to be in. And if that's so, you will find a link for the lifelong love relationship in the YouTube description below, which can tell you everything that you need to know about how to find a partner that's great for you. Well, today, Cancer, I'm going to start reporting something that that I feel is really important, even though I've never reported it before, and that is Ceres retrograde. Ceres goes retrograde every year for several months, between 3 and 4 months. This time it's going retrograde for 14 and a half weeks, and it's about to be finished, but we've been living with this for a couple of months, and so I thought I would explain it to you. Ceres went retrograde on October 8th in Gemini in your 12th house, which may have brought up some free-floating anxiety about money. Ceres governs the things that connect us to the physical world and involves security, our relationship with our bodies, the food we put into them, and the money we make to sustain them. And so when Ceres goes retrograde, we engage in a retrospection period about how we can be a better steward of our body and our self-care practices, of our eating and our finances. Quite often, a Ceres retrograde period will be attended by worries about money. This particular one, because Ceres went retrograde in Gemini, means that we've probably been overthinking it, like gnawing away at it like a rodent, like a, caffeinated rodent. And that over the course of this Ceres retrograde, in the last couple of weeks especially, Ceres has moved back into Taurus, reminding us that we need to return to the fundamentals. We need to go back to basics. And it may be that there is some old budget that you used to run that worked for your life and that you've gotten away from it. It may be that there are old health routines that worked really well for you, and you need to look at those again and see what needs to be rejiggered. Now, this Ceres retrograde is landing in your 11th house, which is the house of community. And so any monies that you share with a community, for example, through tithing at your church or contributions and donations that you make to a community or a social cause, that may be where to look for the financial issues that you're facing right now. So Ceres, the good news is Ceres is going direct. Oh, and your worries and upsets about this might have reached a peak around November 26th, which is when I call it Financial Crisis Day happened. And there also was a stock market crash. No coincidence, never a coincidence. And you'll find out a lot more about Ceres in the video that we made about it on our YouTube channel and also on our forecast page. But suffice it to say that Ceres is going direct on the 14th. You'll see this little red RX symbol is going to go away. And boom. When Ceres goes direct, things begin to get better and you can implement what you've learned, during the retrospection period and expect that things will get better financially. Hey, Julia, I know you've got some stuff about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. What's that?
I sure do. Well, hey there, Cancer. Mercury is the planet that rules our mind, and it can also represent communication too. On January 2nd, Mercury goes into your 8th house. That is the house of research, the house of investigation, the house of other people's money. So with Mercury in the 8th house, your mind could be much more probing than usual. Maybe there is some matter in your personal or professional life that you're investigating or doing a lot of research on, which can be a very fruitful time period for that. However, be careful of not getting too paranoid about things, because that can also happen with Mercury in the 8th. On January 14th, Mercury goes retrograde in the 8th. Now, Mercury retrograde times are times of miscommunication. And in the eighth house, you could have some miscommunication with either people you're close to who you share money with, because the eighth house is the house of other people's money. So maybe that's a partner, maybe that's your parents, or it could be miscommunications with institutions over money, thinking that your mortgage would be one thing and then it kind of turns into another. Now, Mars, the planet of action and activity, starts the month in your sixth house. This is a health house. It's also a work house. And with Mars in the sixth, if you have any chronic conditions, like you deal with migraines or UTIs, chronic conditions can kind of crop up a little bit more now and be kind of annoying. Mars in the sixth can also be a bit of a frustrating time at work, maybe tension with people you work with or just problems at the job. Then on January 24th, Mars moves into your seventh house. This is the house of romantic relationships, and it's also the house of consultants. So if you do need to hire a consultant around after the 24th, there might be some tension with the overall hire. So might not be the best time for that. Also, if you're in a partnership, you two might not be seeing eye to eye on as many things. Maybe your partner's annoying you a little bit more. Maybe they get annoyed by you. However, if you and your partner use this transit to kind of get a lot of shared energy out together, like do a project together or do some work together, maybe go for a jog together, that could actually really help it out. Then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, starts the month retrograde in your seventh house of partnership. Now, I really covered this cycle. It's a long cycle. It spans over 2 months, and I really covered it in our last month's video. So you should definitely check that out. But generally speaking, Venus retrograde in the seventh, it can be time of relationship review for everyone, but particularly for you, Cancer, because it's in your seventh house of relationship. You're really putting your romantic relationship under the spotlight. You're wondering how you two harmonize together, whether that your partner really feels like your other half or not, and whether there could be some things you do to make the relationship stronger. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be a time where, your exes come out of the woodwork like crazy, or you could be thinking about the qualities that you need in your next partner. And there's even more relationship going on, activity going on this month with Juno too, which Janie's going to tell you about.
Yes. So it's almost an irony that while Venus is retrograde, being retrospective and looking at the past, looking backward, looking inward, Juno is direct, meaning moving forward and as fast as possible. In fact, you can see that Juno and the Sun are meeting up right here around the 11th. Boom, the Sun and Juno have just exchanged places. So Juno is really at the peak of her powers. Juno signifies committed relationships of all kinds, whether that's spousal relationships or cohabitating relationships, relationships where you share a lot of responsibilities, even business relationships, and things that are contractual. So Juno is saying things like that want to move forward right now and are very benefited when they do move forward. So Juno is saying it's a good time to get engaged and take that relationship more seriously. But meanwhile, Venus is the one doing the litmus test for, is this relationship viable? Does it feel fair? Does it feel balanced? Is it truly something that is worth all of the energy and the work that I've put into it? And am I ready to take it seriously? So it's an interesting combination of factors, and we've made a video just about this, which is in our January 2021, 2022, it's a new year playlist, and also on our forecast page. And then there also is the Venus retrograde video that's in the December playlist in 2021. So let's see, the next thing I want to tell you about is the moons of the month. Beginning on January 2nd, we have a new moon in Capricorn right here in the 7th house. And new moons are times of new beginnings, but this one is a new beginning that is birthed, I think, in some ways in pain. And that's because the moon in Capricorn is a very hardworking moon that is sort of rooted in the idea that I have to work for nurture. And this particular new moon includes a square to Chiron. We're calling this moon when toughing it out doesn't work anymore. And it wouldn't be surprising if under this moon, many people come to a breaking point in areas where they put in a lot of effort. And for you in particular, the seventh house is the domain of relationship, and that is where you tend to put in a lot of effort and try to create a lot of structure and be very deeply committed and loyal. And this moon could very well show you that something about that has reached, a point of burnout. Now, as moons often do, this month, the second moon of the month is going to bring resolution to some of the themes of the first moon of the month. The second moon is the full moon, and it's much nicer. First of all, we have the moon in Cancer where it loves to be. It's at home and comfortable there. This is your sign, and so it falls in your house. And so this moon is saying it's time for some well-deserved self-care. And you may put a lot of your energy and your structures and your discipline into nurturing others, but now it's time for some care for you. So this one we're calling relax and allow the break you've been working toward. It happens around the 17th, and there's still a very big emphasis in the seventh house. As Julia has been describing, there's a very big emphasis on relationship this month, which is why I was recommending that lifelong love reading at the top of this video. And then this moon is just inviting you to kind of back away from your relationships and put a little, loving care, TLC, into yourself. So the last thing I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. And that happens around December 19th or 20th when the sun leaves Capricorn and your seventh house and moves up into Aquarius and your eighth house. Now, the seventh house and the eighth house are both houses of partnership. The seventh house is a little bit more about the surface of the partnership, the feeling of fairness and balance in the partnership, the feeling of complimenting another person or being complimented by them. Whereas the eighth house is the murkier, deeper, heavier, more emotional arena of relationship, and the arena where the bonding really happens and where you have to trust and share. So as the sun moves into this house, it's a good time to begin shifting your attention to the deeper arenas of your relationships and the stuff that's going on underneath the surface. The sun is representative of sunlight, and sunlight is a life-giving force. Your attention is the best metaphor for sunlight that you have. Wherever you shine your attention, things can grow. And so shining the light of your attention in a good way into the mysterious corners and hidden areas of your partnerships is what this season calls for. And that'll be going on for the next 30 days from about January 19th or 20th. Well, that's what we have for you today, Cancer. Hope you enjoyed it. You can find more details about all of the retrogrades we discussed, Ceres retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and Venus retrograde, on our YouTube playlist for this month, the January 2022 news videos, but also on our forecast page at our website, pandoraastrology.com. Also on our website, you could get a reading, you could take a class, and check your other horoscope too. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.